Today, for the first time on my channel, I'm going to do a tier list about the meta. And first of all, we are going to kick it off with the heroes, which the first one is going to be the Queen. She is a really solid hero in the meta and a really good counter to the PK. So I guess A is a solid tier for her because there's some matchups that she can't win, for example like the Shield Maiden. Moving forward, we have the king of the meta himself, which is the Barbarian King. He surely deserves the S tier because you can win every matchup with it, especially after that buff that the team gave to him, which is unstoppable with the invincibility. That just changed everything for him. Nextly, we have the Countess, one of the best counters for BK and Archer, but believe on me, there are still some BK decks that she can't do anything against it. But even with that, she's a really solid hero for pushing in ladder. A tier is the best one for sure. After that, we have the Warden, which I like to call him the situational hero because there's only two decks that can work with him, and it's the Ghost Warden, which if the enemy was having Fisher, you are just going to be dead, and as the Demon tile as well, he's playable, but that tile is not available always, so B is probably the perfect tier for him. Now we have the Monk, which would have been one of the best heroes, but because of the unstoppable of the BK after the Invis, he just fall down to be at C tier. You just can never win a BK matchup with the Monk. Now in this time for Natureborn, after all of those nerfs that she received in the recent balance changes and the wizard being so popular in meta, she deserves to be at maybe C or D. I guess C is the best one for her. Moving forward, we have one of the newest heroes in the meta right now, which is the Pink Fury. Unfortunately for her, she's not having any kind of survivabilities, but you can still use the healers with her, which can help against the Queen and Royal Champion. But when you face a BK wizard, things are going to start messing up right there. Especially the BK's invincibility is a really big problem for her. So I guess B is the solid tier for her. Imagine if she was getting some kind of HP increase with each elixir that you restore with the Pink Fury. That would have been so crazy for her. Anyways, now we have the Royal Champion, one of the best heroes in the meta right now, especially when you combine her with the Ewiz and Musketeer. But even with that, if the enemy was running Healing Ranger in his deck, things are going to become really bad from now. But even with that, she's still one of the best heroes and deserves to be in A tier. Nextly, we have the Shield Maiden, aka the Healing Queen. For her, unfortunately, BK Wizard is so popular in meta and some BK players are running P.E.K.K.A as well in their decks, which can counter the Maiden really hardly, so B is probably the tier for her. For the Skeleton King, after the Ghost's Clash nerf, and in this meta as well, everyone is running Ewiz Muskie in the backline, so there's no much value that he can get with the isolation. C is probably the tier for him. And finally, we have the Wave Master, which deserves to be at D tier after that 3 big nerfs that he received in the recent balance changes. I think they over-nerfed him. He was just strong because of the bandit and not because of himself. Anyways, that's all for the heroes. Now let's go for the minis, and the first one is going to be the Archer, one of the best minis in the meta right now. But the thing with her is that she's just strong with those heroes that are giving boost to her. So I guess A is the right tier for the Archer. Moving on, we have the Bandit, and just like the Wave Master, they over-nerfed her and she must be at D tier. The next one is the Barbarian. He was in the last meta and in this meta as well, a D tier mini. Literally the most useless mini in the game right now. Nextly, we have the Battle Healer, one of the best counters to the Archer Queen and a good mini against RC as well. But because Wizard is so popular in meta, she deserves to be at B tier. Well, after that we have the Bowler, one of the minis that can always give you value if you know how to use him. But unfortunately, the Prince can't stop his clash abilities. Even with that, when the Demon tile is available, he's a mini that must be used in your deck, so I'm going to put him at B as a situational mini. Now we are having the Dagger Goblin, one of those minis that I really thought he's going to be so broken at the start of the meta, but after a while people started to use the wizard, which is a really great counter to him. But even with that, as a 2 elixir mini, the value that he gives is so incredible, so I'm going to put him at A tier. Nextly, we have the Dart Goblin, one of the best win conditions in the game, but right now I feel like he's just under the shadow of the archers, so I'm going to put him at B tier. Now we are having the Electro Wizard, one of those minis that can be used with every hero in the game right now, and when you combine him with the Musketeer, problems are going to start for your opponent from then. So A is the perfect tier for him for sure. Moving on, we have the Fisherman, which after the nerf that he received, he can't hook the last row, but even with that, he's a really good counter against the Queen, and you can stop clash abilities with him, so I'm probably going to put him at B tier, where he must be. After that, we have the Giant Skeleton, one of the best tanks in the game, and a really good counter against Dagger Goblin and Countess. But the thing is that when you are facing a ranged hero like Archer Queen and Royal Champion, he's not going to provide any kind of good values to you. So I'm going to put him at B as a situational tank. Nextly, we have the Golden Giant, the beefiest tank in the game right now because there's so much stunts in the meta, and he can survive Giant Skeleton's bomb like it is nothing. And even if the enemy was not having any kind of stun, you can use the second ability. Because of the block, he can provide a really nice and incredible value to you. So I'm going to put him as the A tier mini. After that, we have another stun counter, which is the Healing Ranger. After the buff that they gave to her last ability, when you 3-star her, she mostly can provide you perma unstoppability, which is so incredible against the stun decks. So I'm going to put her as an A tier mini. Moving forward, we have the Ice Wizard, one of the best support minis, but right now he's under the shadow of Electro Wizard and Muskie. Even with that, with the last ability, you can make the archers survive longer, and when the Demon Tile is available, he's a mini that must be used in your deck with the Warden to make the Demon Tile mini survive the clash abilities. So I'm going to put him at B tier. Now we are having the Night Witch. We don't need to talk about him so longly. He's not providing the value most of the time. I'm going to put him at C. And for the Lumberjack, he's having a really few amount of HPs, which makes him be a really easy target for Royal Champion. But the abilities are really good, so I'm still going to put him at C. I think for this meta he's not that good. Nextly, we have the best ranged win condition, especially when you combine him with Archer Queen or BK to provide that double amount of damage. He can go so crazy. But even with that, because Golden Giant is so popular in meta and he is a really good counter against Magic Archer, I'm going to put him at A tier. About the Mega Knight, the thing is that players in this meta are relying on the Electro Wizard and Musketeer for the stun. And even if you used a 3-star Mega Knight against a BK P.E.K.K.A player, believe on me, the P.E.K.K.A or the Mega Knight will not give you more than one jump. So I'm going to put him at B tier because there's a lot of better and cheaper tanks than him. Nextly, we literally have the most annoying mini in the game right now. As a 2 elixir mini, he can be used with every hero and can provide you the value that you need because of his good abilities. But now, players are learning how to counter him by using Muskie and Ewis or P.E.K.K.A as well, so I'm going to put him at A tier. He actually might deserve to be at S tier, but I don't know. Do you think he deserves to be at S tier? Let me know down in comments. For the mini P.E.K.K.A, the energy based minis are stacked in the backline, which most of the time he can't reach. You can still dissipate BK and Golden Giant with him, but I really don't think it's worth it. B is the tier for him. Nextly, we have the Musketeer, one of the best counters against the Miner when you combine her with the Electro Wizard, and one of the best stun dealers, so A is the tier for sure. After that, we have the P.E.K.K.A, and when you combine her with the BK, oh my god, she's dealing a really crazy amount of damage, and she's having unstoppable by her own, so A is the tier for her as well. Moving forward, we have the Prince, the only mini that can provide you value even if you did not upgrade him, and he's the only counter against Fisher and can stop clash abilities for you as well, so A is probably the best tier for him. Nextly, we have the Ghost, which got HP buff in the recent balance change, but the thing is not about the HP, it's about the clash ability. If you face a Fisher with Ghost, you are just dead. If they make the clash ability speed equal as the Fisher, he will probably be an S tier, but for now B is the tier for him. About the guard, the story is the same as the knight. He can provide you the value that you need with tanking, so I will put him in C tier. And about the spear goblin, he recently got a new ability, but still his first ability is the only viable one for now. And because of that, I'm just going to put him, maybe, I think C is the tier as well for spear goblin. Now we are having the swordsman, a mini that has one of the best abilities in the game and one of the best damage dealers. But the thing is that meta is full of BKs and golden giant, which swordsman cannot take down easily to get you the value that you need. So for now, I will put him as a C tier mini. Nextly, we have the Valkyrie, one of the best counters against the dagger goblin, and when you combine her with the ghost, she can destroy decks for you. But the thing is that ghost is not that popular in the meta right now, and just because of that reason, I'm going to put her as a B tier mini. For the last two minis, we have the witch, literally the garbage of this meta, because there's a lot of RCs and archers in the meta right now, and they can get advantage out of her skeletons. I will put him at D tier for now. At the end, we have the wizard, one of the best minis against the golden giant and dagger goblin, and can synergize very well with the BK, but the thing is that with the other heroes, he's actually not that good. Just because of that reason, I'm going to put him as a B tier mini. I have not put any mini in S tier because in my opinion S tier is for those units that you can win every possible matchups with them, but maybe minor should have been in S. Let me know your thoughts down in comments. Anyways, this is the result of my tier list. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and see you in the next time. Bye bye.